G'day everyone, Mark here from Mark & Cars. Welcome back to the channel. Really appreciate you taking your time to watch today. We've got a bit of a treat. We're looking at a 1988 Porsche 944 Turbo S. It's a rare car, they didn't make many of them, only in 1988. This car's in silver pink metallic, it's got a silver rose interior. We'll have a closer look at that in a minute. Now, what's so special about this car? Well, there's the ordinary Porsche 944 Turbo in 1988, and Porsche decided, we've got this new motor in our Porsche Cup cars, let's put it in a road car, let's beef everything up, let's take everything up a notch and make a serious driver's car. And this is one of those cars. Globally, they only made about 1,000 of these cars. They did actually make a model that's very similar for the UK market called a 944 Turbo SE, but that's a slightly different car to this one. Now, what did you get when you got a 944 Turbo S? Well, you got a power increase. The Turbo S has got a 247 horsepower motor, up from the 217 of the standard turbo. They did that by putting bigger KKK turbo on there, increase the boost, and they introduced the overboost function that you actually get on all the new 911 turbo cars today. Overall, the car's performance, considering its age, it's up there. When this car came out, it had the same 0-100 time as the 911 Turbo 930 in 1988, which is around the 5.5 second mark, but the 944 actually had a higher top speed of 260 kilometers an hour. So the thing goes. Look, like all 80s turbo cars, it is a product of its era. Not a lot happens until about 4,000 RPM, and after that, you better be holding on to that steering wheel tight, because it's going to go. Some other features that the Turbo S got over the standard turbo, and actually they hardened the first and second gears with the increased power and the torque that was going through the transaxle there in the back, like all good transaxle Porsches. And they put a shorter fifth gear in to give the car, you know, a bit more of a livelier feel. Came standard with a limited slip diff too, which was an option in the 944 Turbo of that era. Bigger brakes went on the front from the 928 S4, so bigger calipers, bigger rotors, more stopping power, which was necessary with that increase in power. Also stiffer springs, firmer bushings, and Koni suspension, like all good sports derivative Porsches have. Yeah, so overall, car looks fantastic. I'm sure you'll agree. Let's have a closer look around it. And got any comments about what I've had to say here, please put them below. This particular car is currently for sale. I'll put a link to the sale below, and please just message me directly if you're interested in the car, and I'll pass you directly through to the owner.
The 944 Turbo S's, they had pretty much one option, and that was fabric or leather interior. Now, this is the fabric interior option called Silver Rose. Now tell me, why wouldn't you pick this? Why would you need leather over this? Just have a look at the colour. It is amazing. I cannot believe that cars don't have these types of products anymore. And if you look at what's going on with the outlaw cars, Singers, those types of things, even people putting the tartans and the Pepitas in the car, this is going to make a comeback. I'm telling you, this looks amazing in the flesh. Open up the back here of the hatch just so I can show you how big the 944s are if you're not that familiar with them. Could probably park another car in there. You can definitely park my 356 in there. But overall, I'm very surprised to know that the gas struts still work in this car. Pretty rare for a car of this age, but have a look at the size of this glass canopy, will you? Looks like it belongs on a fighter jet from the Vietnam War era. There's one big piece of glass. So you can see this is well and truly before the days of engine covers. Porsche was not ashamed of how much they could pack in under a hood. And whilst this is pretty tight, it's certainly not 928 tight. You know, overall, it's all business under here. It's actually, this car's in nice, pretty tidy condition under the hood when you consider its age. Now there's a scene that you only find in 80s cars. They don't do this in cars anymore, do they? So sitting in the 944 Turbo S, firstly the seating position is to sit in. The seat is quite supportive. It feels like just a normal sports seat that you get in a 911 of this era. So that side of things is all electric seats. There's a lot of comfort features in here. But this evening here in Perth, it is a very balmy evening. I'd say it's probably close to, I don't know, 29 degrees still here at 5 to 7 in the evening. So the aircon's on and it's working. I don't know, hopefully it's not messing around your audio too much, but too bad if it is because it's too warm to drive without it. But it's nice to be in a car of this age where the aircon does work. It's pretty much got power everything. The steering wheel, leather wrapped, gear knob, leather wrapped, it's all quite nice. The buttons on the dash here are all as you'd expect of a car of this era. And what I will say is pedal placement's very similar to a 911, except it's shifted in to line a bit better than what a 911 is. The car's gauge cluster has a turbo boost gauge underneath the tacho, which is quite nice, you know, so certainly no add-on. It's a 5-speed manual, as I mentioned earlier. Burgundy interior with the cloth seats, lovely. Okay. The weight of the clutch is heavy for a car for today, but typical of a car of the late 80s, I would have to say. But anyway, let's take for a drive. Car's got good power for its age. You know, the 247 horsepower is laughable in today's numbers, but the car only weighs 1,350 kilos, so you know, you don't need a lot of power when you got light cars. The reason the numbers are getting so big in today's cars is because of how heavy the things are. You know, when they bring out a lightweight version of a car these days, they knock, you know, only knock about 50 kilos off it. But back in these days, if you want a lightweight version of a car, they were knocking 200, 300 kilos out of it. To give you an idea, the 928S4 of this era was 400 kilos heavier than this car. I've just turned the lights on because I actually want to see where the front of the car is. Yeah, the speedo definitely sweeps up a lot quicker than necessary on these public roads. So yeah, the car's got good power. So look, for anyone looking to get into Porsche ownership and they want to get themselves a special car but don't necessarily have the budget to get into an air-cooled car or a 997 or 991, this is amazing value for money, this car. I'm really impressed with it. Look, all 944s are great driving cars anyway. Always been undervalued, underrated in my opinion. Look, people who own them tend to keep them for a long time, so you know, that's usually a pretty good sign. It's not because they're trying to recoup their depreciation, they are actually good driving cars. As is reflected by the number of 944 Cup cars that are still getting driven today from back in the 80s in, you know, Porsche car events. Car's nicely balanced, very little body roll. You definitely have no trouble keeping up with modern cars if you to buy this for like a club car to do events with the family, you know, that type of thing. I'm sure the back seat's token, but you know, you find me a Porsche of this era that's got a reasonable back seat. It wasn't until I brought out the Cayenne really that you could actually fit humans in the back of the Porsche. What I will commend this car for its age is how tight everything is. Look, there's a couple of interior rattles and stuff, but you could actually sort those out pretty easily, I think. But yeah, the gear shifters, there's no, you know, there's very little play in it. All the pedals, the spring loading and everything feels quite nice. The car drives like, you know, it could, but you told me it was only 10 years old, I believe, with how it feels.
fit finish is nice. The rear, everything in this car is actually really nicely presented. All the buttons look good still. The indicator still is amazing condition for its age, as is the wiper still. It's got a period correct radio in it with a tape deck. So it's a Grundig stereo, not the original one by the looks of it, so it's got a CD input, but it is a still a sympathetic installation nonetheless. So overall, I'm sure you'll agree the car presents amazingly. As I mentioned earlier, please get in touch with me directly if you're in the market for one of these. This is definitely a future collector's car. Look, the car isn't a concourse car, it's a really good driver, but it's not a long way from it either. For originality, this car is spot on. So, it's a beauty. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. It really helps my videos get better in the YouTube algorithm. Share it with anyone who you think might be half interested in getting themselves a modern classic. And, you know, have a look around the channel. You might see some videos there you like. If you like this sort of stuff, I don't have much transactional content, but I'm going to fix that soon. Anyway, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching Mark and Cars.